Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host, John, better known as Dare. We're on Yakspin. We have a fantastic show for you. A bunch of returning and on sale gem store items. And Talking Skritt, we're going to kind of do a roundup of 2018 and what we want to see in 2019. And hopefully hear from Chad as well about that. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. She is an editor at Guildmag, writes for MMORPG.com, and also her own site, MMOArlee.com. Every time a bell rings, and Arlee gets a roar. Say hello to Robin.
Yay. Hi. I'm back.
I think you gave me your disease from before pre-show of just putting in random letters
and everything.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm excited to actually be back again. It's great.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, like I said, this is probably going to be a lighter, this is a lighter news week. It's probably going to be a shorter kind of an episode, but who knows? Last time, normally when we have nothing to talk about, that tends to be the longest show, which
yeah, because we go off on tangents. We're like, hey, what about this?
But so we shall see, and we'd love to hear from people in chat, because like I said, we're kind of talk about what actually happened this week, but also encapsulate what they did in 2018, what we want to see in 2019. I definitely want to hear what chat's thoughts are, and if you're watching on YouTube, sound off, and maybe someone at ArenaNet will listen, because this might show them what some people want to see in 2019. So hopefully that'll be put on the plan.
Well, we can say things that are spoilers for the last episode at this point, right?
Yeah, because basically last week we even talked about it, and we can even talk about it too if you want to talk about the teaser trailer.
Yeah, I would love to talk about it. Okay. No, I was just gonna say I already got Air and Snap in game again, so I don't know what else I get.
Oh yeah. I guess that's a good place to start. Is let's talk about the teaser. We talked about it a little bit last week, but since it was just me and Age, I guess I'm doing it one by one. So maybe next week it'll be me and Jim, and we'll talk about it.
That's amazing.
If you haven't seen the trailer, here it is, kind of playing at the same time. But for people that don't remember, we're going to Thunderhead Keep apparently. We're getting a new mastery for our mounts that kind of vaults us off of our mount, and we kind of like glide to. I don't want to say glide, even though it looks like we're using a glider. It looks like a specific trajectory,
right?
So I don't want to get I don't want to necessarily get I don't want people to necessarily get the perception that you might get the free gliding. We might, but from the picture, it very looks like a distinct trajectory.
Yeah. It's funny on this trailer, there's a lot of really interesting things, but every time I see it, the thing I first zero in on and can't get past is what's in that like globe with sand, and it looks like there's a skeleton thing in there. What is that, and what is in it when you go to see Ogden in the beginning? It's in the very beginning of the trailer.
I'll have to
walk up to Ogden, and in the background there's this thing. I'm like, what is that? Is that important?
Is that a thing that we need to know?
Right. Well, because it kind of looks like it's like a skeleton of a dragon laying in sand in a like almost snow globe type thing.
It's a piece of Jormag.
Right.
And like now I'm trying waiting for the thing to loop around. Like,
I know.
And like Chad's saying, it looks like it's like the glint skill and hot. And I agree with what everybody's saying, but it's also could leave it open to I would still think it would be very smart for ArenaNet to do is make it so it uses whatever your backpack skin is or your glider skin is, because that way if you don't have Heart of Thorns, you would still potentially buy a glider skin to fully customize your character.
Right.
Yeah, the tiny box that I have in it is not doing it justice. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks weird.
It's just like bunch of sand in a globe and looks like a dragon. I'm like, what is that?
Chat's saying it's the hour. Oh, is it the pieces of the hourglass? Okay. I was wondering that, but
I don't think so. That doesn't look like a part of an hourglass at all. It's just like a globe.
Hopefully we break it again. And he's like, oh, I just sweeped it all up.
Seriously, guys.
You know how hard it is to sweep up like dimensional grains of sand? You touch it, you go to the dimension. It's so annoying.
The other thing was that when we got this one and they were like, we have to kill Calturks. I was like, wait, did I miss the thing where we solved how killing a dragon works and not destroying the world? Like, I don't remember that.
It's definitely interesting that I know caught me off guard, because it was like leading up all to this, it's like we got to figure out how to protect them and how to deal with them in a safe way, otherwise the world's gonna just blow, like just destroy itself. And it's like, yeah, let's destroy it. I'm like, what happened to the guy like a couple months ago?
Yeah, I know. I literally was like, did I forget an important thing in the last episode? Like, I don't remember us solving that problem. Well, yeah, but that's what everybody is like assuming. We're going to replace it with Aurene, but like it's never been said. Like we were told Aurene's the key. Yeah, we've been told she's the key to like defeating him and all of that, but we haven't been told how it works or why it works or how we need to, or even how we can actually successfully do it, because she had her visions and shit where we failed every time. So yeah, I was like, hey, we
and now she's actually just ran off. Like we don't even technically have her. So it's like, what if we can't find her? We're like, that doesn't seem like a good commander strategy. Like, yeah, we lost the only thing to contain it. Yeah, let's kill it anyway.
It'll be fine. She'll show up, I'm sure. It's great.
There's a couple more dragons. We can take one more out, right?
Right. But yeah, I think my assumption that I've gone to now is this episode, with the assumption that this is the penultimate episode, so there'll be one more. I think this episode isn't going to be so much about Krakatorrik. It's going to be about figuring out how to do that, and how to do that without destroying the world. And the whole like big meeting of, yeah, we got to kill the dragon. I think that's going to happen at the end of the episode. That will propel us forward into the next one. Yeah.
I like what NECA is saying. It is kind of funny that basically the whole expansion was, we can't let Balthazar kill Krakatorrik. And then literally near basically the end of the season, let's kill Krakatorrik.
Right. It was really, we just didn't want Balthazar to do it. We wanted to do that. We're like, hey,
dibs. We're
the dragon killers, not you. We kill dragons.
He took our dibs. You don't take our dibs.
Get back in your corner, Balthazar.
Balthazar? Is he going to be the next Elder Dragon? Balthazar.
I was thinking like a Pokemon.
I was going to say, it sounds very Pokemon-ish.
Oh, cute, tiny little Krakatorrik. Not Krakatorrik, Balthazar.
That could be the next we'll be having Polymorph, because he'll be our little,
yeah,
he'll be everybody's Pikachu. Everybody gets a Balthazar.
That would be amazing. Oh my god.
Chat's saying they think this episode is going to be assembling the allies and finding a way to stop Krakatorrik. The fight is episode 6. Yeah, it sounds like that was what Arlee was thinking, especially because now we're seeing out of nowhere, Logan and stuff like that. I mean, out of nowhere as in sense of, he kind of was like it seemed like he was writing himself out of the story, and then it was like, I thought you were going for a desk job, or...
Right. Retiring.
It kind of does make sense, just because of, this is kind of like the dragon that got away from Destiny's Edge. Like, there's a lot of built up... So maybe this is like the final hurrah for Destiny's Edge, because
I was going to say,
in the trailer in the last episode, Case shows up. We have Ritlock,
Right. I think this would be a big one for all of them. Like, at this point, if JoJo doesn't show up for Krakatorrik, she's dead. Like, why else wouldn't she show up? Like,
and that's one thing I know we were talking about at great length last week, was like, what are they going to do about the Zoja thing? Like, basically, the voice actor, which apparently chat was saying that she did show interest months ago. Like, I guess had time in her schedule, which maybe they did utilize her then. Like, because they do plan these somewhat ahead, you know.
Oh, a lot ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how far into the thing where they could have got voice acting done, but you know, maybe they did grab her for that and got her to show up. But last we know is she was kind of in the comatose from being trapped in the blighted pod, which that's been quite a while.
Yeah, which also I'm kind of frustrated because originally, like, I thought depending on which one you chose to save first in the blighted pod, the Logan or Zoja, in your story, the opposite one would be the one that's like kind of out of it and not shown up and sick. But that apparently wasn't a choice carried through, which makes me sad.
Though it is kind of interesting because if you remember when, like the kind of one of the last times you talked to Logan, people were wondering if there was a spell on him from Queen Jenna, like if you talked to him, I think it was during the attack from the White Mantle and stuff like that, where he's just kind of like, you could tell he's, I don't know, it's like something's different about him, like, and people were suspecting because he was in the blighted pod, maybe her magic got taken out, like, switched.
Oh, he might be free from her magic? That would be amazing. That would be the best thing that ever happened to him.
I know a lot of people were possibly thinking that, so maybe, you know, maybe he's making it right. Like, he's like, no, I'm here to kill Krakatork this time, no matter what. Like,
right.
I'm not going to run away, you know?
Can I say I'm still mad about that because she didn't even need his help. Like, oh my God. Man, I'm not going to start ranting on that because it makes me so mad. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes and everything. Oh, well, no, I'll save that. Never mind.
Okay. Why don't we just find kids of other dragons? I mean, if that's how that's how easy it works, but I mean, maybe we already found one in the sense of, they always did say there was a lore reason why, Tequatl got more powerful. Maybe we need to stop fighting Tequatl. We're ruining everything again.
Right. No, I don't know that. So, like, the difference between the regular dragons and the elder dragons, there's a huge difference, but we don't really know how that happens. Like, will the other dragons, if they get old enough, just become elder dragons? Like, is that how it works? Like, you know, what's the thing there? If they absorb enough power, do they become elder dragons? The thing with Glint is that she had her eggs after she was free of Krakatork's control, so it made her different, and I don't know that any of the other ones would necessarily have any eggs or babies because, like, they're just not as mindless as the other minions of dragons, but like they're not of their own free will or whatever, and I don't see why a elder dragon would want potential challengers around, you know.
Chat's saying, well, first off, the M. Night Shyamalan twist where something can intervene into the fight propelling us into season 5. I think that might definitely happen since we know there's definitely gonna be a season 5,
right?
Not, you know,
not an expansion.
Yeah, but I like Mac doing the math here. Dragons have 4 legs. Wyverns have 2 legs. How many legs do elder dragons have? I guess it kind of depends.
Have we ever seen their legs? Like,
well, I was gonna say, I guess it kind of depends because Zaitan was an amalgamation of multiple dragon corpses. So
yeah, like he had multiple heads and stuff.
Yeah,
and
so he could theoretically have multiple legs.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, Morgemoth didn't. Well, the vine of Morgemoth, or the whatever you want to call it, the actual physical form didn't, but then the Barney mental version, like the pudgy one, you know,
pudgy Morgemoth. Yeah. Oh, you're so adorable. Like, that's the other thing. Like, that's in his mind. Like, in his mind, he can make himself look any way he wants. Why would he go with that? I don't understand.
It's mind games. You go, oh, smash.
Maybe that's what he was like. I'm going to be adorable.
Oh, he has like Rox's eyes. He's like, love me. There we go. We're gonna rewrite it. And we have seen Primoris. He had a big mouth. but we haven't been able to count the legs. Yeah.
Have we seen Primordus?
Well, we saw the head of him when he was rising.
Right.
But yeah, we haven't seen
like his full body and stuff.
Yeah. But how many do we even like Krokotork? I don't even think we've seen his legs. Like we've just seen him kind of appear out of the sky and stuff.
No, like he's all like shrouded in like misty stuff or whatever.
I just got like a realization that like if someone at ArenaNet's listening to this, they're like, why the heck are they talking about legs? Like, what does this have to do with anything?
No, like
it's the legs. It definitely has to do with the legs.
The first thing you learn, one, when you're DMing, and two, when you're game designing, your players will always like focus in on the most insignificant little thing that you put in. Like you throw in some little thing as like a whatever, and that's what everybody will focus on as if it's the most important thing. It happens every time.
Yep.
The legs. After the Ruby, you should watch this week's show and the legs. Oh my god!
It's like a T-Rex but with tiny legs.
Like a T-Rex with long arms but tiny legs.
That'd be amazing. Especially because it's like a lot of times you see the elder dragons first, like the upper half, so it's so menacing. It's like like falling over. So that's what you think we're gonna see in this episode. We're gonna see Krokotork's tiny legs.
Yep.
What did we just go through? I don't know.
Clearly, Krokotork skips leg day.
Once again, well, like we jokingly said, when we have nothing to talk about, that tends to be the longest episode because we just go off on these weird tangents.
Oh my god! Like literally all week, I'm gonna be like the legs. Oh.
Krokotork's tiny legs is the title for episode 6.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
If they could drag it out to the expansion, they could just call it Guild Wars 2 Leg Day.
Yes.
But I guess kind of getting back to a little bit of this at Living Worlds. I mean, granted, we were there before someone yelled at me for that. But how do you like the idea of that we're going back to Thunderhead Keep? I know a lot of people have been concerned that this might mean that we're not going to see much more development in the Shiver Peak areas just because. So
my question with Thunderhead Keep is that's a Guild Wars 1 thing. We haven't been there in Guild Wars 2, have we? Have I just forgotten that? Okay. Nope. I was like, it's possible. I could forget it. So for me, like going back, it's kind of like, because I never really played Guild Wars 1. But it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The excitement from players of Guild Wars 1 has had me curious. I'm like, oh, what are we going to find there? Like,
I mean, this is where we kind of discovered more of the prophecy and stuff. And,
okay. Ooh, maybe there's more glint things stashed away for us.
I was thinking that maybe some of the lore, because this is kind of where the turmoil for between the Deljamor and the Stone Summit dwarves were. So this should be like maybe seeing. I was saying last week, I'd kind of like to see some lore of we talk about, especially when we see Ogden, they talk about how eventually all the dwarves became part of the Great Dwarf. They all took the right. Now some delayed it longer than others, like Ogden. But I'd like to hear like texts like from like the Stone Summit. They're like, we don't believe in it. Like, it's like they're possibly getting taken over force, like against their will or something.
Oh, Thunderhead Keep was the mission that took us to the Fire Islands?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was basically leading up to, we were dealing with the Stone Summit, and also the Mersat were invading into the camp with the White Mantle. But then we needed, I think that completed the prophecy, and like we had to go over and deal with the Dora Kamali and stuff like that. So we had to go over to wondering if they'll find your boy Confessor Dorian. Oh, And you could theoretically maybe hear some stuff if there are Stone Summit things, like maybe some more information about Rourke, because basically the guy that we kill that's a Stone Summit person at Thunderhead Keep in Guild Wars 1 was the person that killed Rourke back in like early on in Guild Wars 1. I think Dagnar, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah, more forgotten. The good possibility. I mean, especially
there's a lot of things that could be in there. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we can find out how Ritlek got his sword in the first place.
Oh. I'm trying to think because
I don't think so.
I was say our really only hope would have been at the Fire Islands, because that's where Rurik had it last, because we killed him there. Spoiler for Guild Wars 1 Prophecies, the Lich reanimates Rurik, and we have to kill him there I think he has the sword then. I know he has a generic shield, because...
Oh, also, another thing I just noticed in this trailer that I've been thinking about a bit is, I can't remember her name, but the leader of the Free Awakened. She's in a lot of the story shots that we see. Like, it's usually like panning past her, but she's there. One of the things I've been wondering about is if the Free Awakened are going to have some kind of major role to play in defeating Krakatorrik.
Yeah.
So, just a thought. I don't know how, but...
But that wasn't a Guild Wars 1 island in the Fire Islands? I'm confused.
Well, like the Fire Islands is multiple islands, like Hawaii, Maui, whatever. So it's like Hawaii was a island in Guild Wars 1, but you never went to Kauai. Kind of thought, I think.
Oh, well, all I was saying was where we killed Rorik because he had the sword then, I believe, is where he was... Oh, Ember Bay wasn't from Guild Wars 1. Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying if I would feel like we'd have to go back to not just Ember Bay, the map, but maybe another spot of the Fire Island chain. Which, like I said, for this one, if they follow the same Guild Wars 1 path, then yes, the next story would take us there, but it would feel weird the way the direction's going of we had to fight Krakatorrik. Be like, we had to fight Krakatorrik. Let's run over to Fire Island chain.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. One of the things that I forgot until I started going back and replaying the last episode is just like how much ground has been covered in the current story season. Just because, like, we remember back, the big thing wasn't Krakatorrik, it was Joko. We were dealing with Joko. And then we all assumed at the beginning that was going to be the season, dealing with him. And then we killed him. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Now what? So it's kind of weird, like how much has gone through in the story.
They covered a lot of ground in this expansion / living story or living world.
Right.
But yeah, and it's also kind of interesting, like you said, like so much stuff has happened. Like, while I remember it happening, I didn't even think about it, and you hear it during the dialogue is like, I think it's Rox that says it, is like, or someone maybe says like Rox is with the Omicron. It's like, oh yeah, we have them. We have, like, we have so many more allies. We actually have like an army that's not like the Pact.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Is he dead or is he just a pile of poop? In a way, isn't that kind of both? Don't tell me we're bringing the poop emoji to the Guild Wars 2. Like,
I am your god.
And then someone just steps on. He's like, oh,
I'll be back.
Yeah, maybe that's why Areen flew off. She's going to go hide Joko.
Oh my god.
And this is probably the moment that any dev that was watching this goes, yeah, I'm just gonna leave
done.
This
Oh man. This is why it's bad when we don't have a whole lot of news.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Arena, this is your fault. That's our spin. You didn't give us any news to talk about, so we had to talk about.
To us.
We had to talk about Joko being the poop emoji.
All right.
But I mean, we're also getting a new fractal. I mean, new legendary bow.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. So that's new thing that they've done was first the upgrade of armor sets, and now it's upgradable weapon sets, which is a new thing they seem to be doing. I wonder, like, what your thoughts on it? Do you like that?
I mean, I feel bad that I'm going to say, like, for me, I don't feel like it's not enough type thing, in the sense of, I don't know, I'd like to see more customization between weapons. Like, I feel like this is, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this is going to be like the armor set that we've seen, where it's like you get the standard one and then you can upgrade it to, through a series. I don't know, I'd kind of like to see, like, maybe even with like legendary quests, and I think I've talked about, or legendary collection stuff, I'd like to see something like, especially with these weapons that aren't named after, like, named for certain things, like maybe forging your own legend, in the sense of, like, if you kill so many Grawl, it'll have this random effect added to it, or it'll look this way. Granted, I understand that's very hard to do,
It's
and
very
annoying, especially
time intensive to set up something like that. Because that gets on, like, the same thing we had with originally the season 2 legendaries, where there were, like, supposed to be a story and a journey of, like, getting them, and some of them really were really great.
Oh yeah,
but each one to do that just took an immense amount of dev time to flesh out this whole story and figure out how to make it work in the game and all of that. So I mean, it would be nice, but
this one, like, the way I was thinking of it, it basically spider webs more so than the actual, like, personal story in the core game, which I don't. While I would like it, I understand that it's probably darn near impossible. But the upgradable armor used weapon sigils. I'm expecting the weapons to use armor runes. Yeah, that's a good point.
Did they really?
Yeah, they use the... Oh, I'm blanking on the name because we talked about them so much, because the price of them were just atrocious, because I think originally...
use them to make the upgraded version?
Yeah, to make the upgraded version of the armor. It was the... Chad, if you can help me out. I can't even remember the name anymore, but it was the... It was basically ones that you could only get through, like, either very rare RNG, or like you had a chance of, like, picking it when you leveled up a character.
Right.
Like, that was the only definitive nullification. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. Yeah.
I think I blocked it out of my mind. That's how bad it, like. But yeah, so hopefully if they do pick one, it's not as bad. Okay, level 50 rank up. Oh, 60 rank up reward. Okay. So yeah, not the wasn't the easiest to obtain, but then they changed the system, which maybe that makes it better. But
cool. I think it's an interesting idea. Like, on the upside, one of the things we asked for is, like, more weapon, more armor skins that you can earn in game.
And
so, like,
definitely doing that.
Yeah, and on that side, I really like that they're doing that and they're giving us more of those. I'm also curious how much dev time it takes to do them in the iteration they have, like how much they can keep this up. Like how often moving forward we would get stuff like this.
I agree. Yeah, chat's saying the runes of sigils of nullification are still 6 gold each, apparently. Which, trust me, that's cheap for what they were. Like, yeah. Because I think they were like 12, 15 at, like, maybe not even at the highest, but when it was like, oh, maybe I'll pick them up. But so it definitely moved in the right direction. But yeah, they were still pretty insane price wise.
Lemon Norlight makes a good point. If they make it something that you can get from a heart vendor, that would kind of be ideal this time around.
Yeah, I agree. Or like, See, I understand where they want it to be like a little time consuming, but don't make it ridiculous RNG like those
Right.
sigils were. Like, I'm even thinking like if they tied it to something like in the new map, like an event, but then the worry is, will it become dead and then be
Yep.
hard to obtain? It's like, I think we keep saying this more and more. This dev stuff, it's tricky just thinking of future proofing it.
Yep.
Because it's like, if it's at a heart vendor, it's like, oh, you do the heart and then you like buy it for whatever it's like,
Right.
it's like, eh.
I mean, the other thing is, I think most people probably still have a lot of karma that they don't use. The people who I think are more likely less on it is the people who built like the legendary armor, a lot of legendary weapons, you know, stuff like that, because those are the main uses of karma. Like the main, there's other things you could get for karma, but they don't use up as anywhere near as much karma as all the legendary things. So I think it's one of those things, like, I think making it available on a heart is a good idea, but I could also see how, like, for those people who have built like all the legendaries and stuff, that might be less appealing.
Yeah. Because it's just kind of I think that's one problem with the legendary weapons is you put so much into it. It's like, it's almost like sunken fallacy costs. Like, you don't want to switch the look or anything. It's like, do they have the incentive to get these weapons and stuff if they look different? It's like, well, I already have this super shiny one or the one. It's like,
yep.
and before you need the whole Requiem armor and Dragon's Blood weapon. Oh,
that's terrible.
Let me delete that comp now. Hopefully Arena don't see that one, or did it.
Right.
Maybe they'll make the sigils available for large amounts of karma or possibly the living world currency when the patch comes out. Yeah, because usually with the living world currency, you can at least, as of late, kind of get that from farming materials and stuff. So there's still like a way to get it if it is a dead map.
Right. Yeah. So they seem to be like, they don't always hit it right well, but I think they're at least thinking about those things. Trying to make old maps more relevant so people go back so you can still do things like that. It's kind of a problem in every game, but I think they're at least trying to address that some.
Any final thoughts on the trailer?
New things, yay!
Yeah. We're going to find out if we're truly going to beat a dragon in the face after literally a whole expansion of them saying, no, it's a bad idea.
Can't kill the dragon. Kill the dragon. No. What is it? The last, the part where they're like, we have to kill the dragon, just reminded me of Beauty and the Beast, where he's like, kill the beast. I was like,
chat saying there was new pants in the trailer. Oh, wow. You have a more eagle eye than I do.
What?
You pull it up and see. Do you know like where it shows new pants? But Bram's face in the trailer is primo.
Yeah. I'm happy we went through the whole thing with Bram. Like, that was one of my favorite things about the last episode, was that, like, he dealt with his issues and was like, wow, I've been shitty. And we're like, yeah, you have.
Maybe we'll unlock the doors as a playable race.
Oh, yeah, no, don't hold your breath there.
Oh, I'm going.
Oh, no.
Arena, you better do it. It's your fault. I'm trying to see if there's...
I know, I'm watching too. I'm like looking at all the pants. Of course, like, you know,
it's kind of hard to see.
There's no chance I would notice. I don't know what all the pant things are.
Doors is playable. The stoner jokes are already saturating.
Oh, it says new diviner gear, so maybe that's what it is.
Well, I thought that a lot of people were saying that might be the stat combination that is in PvP and not PvE, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
No, I could be wrong. I know a lot of people.
Huh. Oh, gear with that stat on it. I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Interesting.
I did not see it, but
I don't know. I believe him though.
I'll be surprised when it comes out Wow, January 8th.
Wow.
It's not
Really
July. Before you guys rip your hair out.
I was going to say that's a long way away. I think the community would riot.
Yeah, just a little bit. The
Okay.
pants are visible in some of the awakened people in the trailer. They match the Corsair armor from previous episodes. Oh, okay. Well, you know, hopefully next week we have news to talk about, and I don't have to just interview Malthanis and figure out what he likes about the trailer.
How's the new year?
Maybe we'll touch upon it, but maybe not.
I think they're just getting back from. They'll just be getting back from the winter break, so probably not a lot of news until the next week when the episode comes out.
Well, everybody looks forward to next week when we hear Malthanis' take on the trailer. Well, and we talked about it last week, the ArenaNet 2018 roundup of how it kind of showed off all the past events of 2018, and we figured using that as like kind of what they achieved this last year. Maybe even looking towards, praising what they did last year, but also saying what do we want to see from them in 2019? Which, I mean, like we said, they basically put out episode 2, 3, and 4 of season 4. They did kind of the friendships event, which I'm sure people would probably.
That was this year, really? Jeez.
Yeah, I thought it was right around.
No, you're probably right. It's just like
it was like right around February or so.
This year has felt like a very long year, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. They did the whole bringing the rideable mounts to conventions this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that was exciting. More bubble tea.
As chat saying more bubble tea. Yeah, I think that might be one of the things of. Maybe next year, if you plan on grouping with someone, maybe you vet it a little bit better.
Right.
Because that was a catastrophe of communication.
Is the roller beetle contest still going on, or is it over?
If it isn't, this is like the last week, I think. If it isn't already. I'm trying to remember.
I was gonna say I haven't seen any winners from that. Not that I know that they would post that. I don't know if they would, but
And ride the Tyrion taxi all the way to the friendship.
Yeah, it ended on December 24th. So.
Okay, so yeah, it was last week. Okay,
cool.
Yeah, chat saying there are no more Beetle dailies anymore. Now, would you guys like to see them maybe do another type of those contests or more, maybe with new races or?
I was going to say, I would like to see them, if they want to do more like contests, giveaway things, I would like to see them do more with things in the game, like make things in the game for people to do. Because one, that gives us more content that's fun and interesting. But two, it ties in what you're doing with the actual game instead of being this random like app that's just like, what's that have to do with anything?
Yeah, this was, I feel like this was definitely more successful than maybe the bubble tea promo. Now, granted, those are trying to achieve different things because basically the giveaway thing is kind of rewarding the people that are already playing, whereas I think the idea with the bubble tea one was trying to get more people in the game.
Right, but it's still a weird thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird.
But even with the Beetle, like even if you were a free-to-play new player or whatever, you could still participate in the sweepstakes and the things because they had the whole Beetle rental and stuff, so you could do that. And you didn't have to win the races to be entered; you just had to do them. So
new mount submarines, so you get cruise or boat ride.
No.
Um, I was just gonna say, well, like Mafongo's saying is, I think if they gave out skins or something as a weekly thing, it would be cool. I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna say even along the lines of maybe if they do the contest next time, maybe like you said, there's a you don't have to win it, but maybe there's a meta for like winning certain things or doing certain things
Right.
that maybe has like if it's revolving around the Beatles again, maybe it is
Mm-hmm.
a special like Beatles skin or something that's. I mean, maybe give us one, like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to. I think that's what I'd like to see in 2019 is maybe some integration of like a couple things that you might find in the gem store
Mm-hmm.
able to be gotten in game, like
Right.
maybe one type of mount skin for each of the uh, types of mounts to be achievable in game,
Right. That would be
and
nice.
that maybe that even because that theoretically makes them look at the this is a different skin. Oh wait, what are all these other skins? Oh, they're in the gem
Right.
store. Oh well, this one's not that much, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
throw some money at it. So maybe that gets more eyes at the panel. But
Yeah. One thing I would like, and I don't know how doable it is because I don't know where they've run into issues that have been the delays on the Living Story episodes, but it would be nice if we could have more consistency with like how long between the episodes are. Um, I know they aim for 3 to 4 months, but it has felt a little wonky, and maybe some of that is just the communication of things not always being great. Like
yeah, I
like
think
I
that was the
was
problem. Was I think at first it was like they were doing great, like they were like hitting like the like closer to like the 2-3 month mark, like they were getting
right,
really short with it, and then all of a sudden I think they were trying different. Like I think the one time it was going to be longer was like, oh, we're trying new tech to hopefully streamline the stuff to be a little
right.
bit faster, and after that point I don't think we've had one that was
Mm-hmm.
faster.
Mm-mm.
Like
And I think like part of it is what I was talking to you about is like for an example, when they announced that they were having a delay in the story. Like, first of all, at that point, everybody already knew it was late because it was already late at that point. Like, if you're announcing something like that, you should probably announce. It's like when you're in school and you have a paper due and you show up and you're like, yeah, I don't have my paper, and it's like the teacher's like, yeah, I know. You like he would have already given it to me if you had it. Like seriously, you know. So more heads up on that kind of stuff because like unless there's something catastrophic that happens behind the scenes where they had everything ready and then something crazy happens and they're like, oh, we can't do it, which it clearly wasn't because they always announce ahead of time before they release things. So it wasn't that. Um, like more heads up, better communication about those things would be a good thing. The other thing is like with the last one, it was only like was it even a week between they said it would be delayed and when they announced the date of the new well when it would actually be? It feels
um,
like they were really close together.
yeah, I was gonna say I think it was, if it wasn't exactly a week, it was right around there, because I think the previous week we talked about, oh, it's not coming out, but we all kind of knew that. And then the next
Mm-hmm.
week it was like, oh, hey, here's the trailer for it.
Right. So like I feel like they should have been able to say when they said, hey, it's going to be late, say also, it's going to be late, but this is when we're planning on getting it to you. This is our plan. Like that would have been a way better message than, oh, yeah, hey, it's late.
Though, maybe benefit of the doubt here, maybe after they delivered that, they figured like it maybe one of those moments where it was a breakthrough in the code, like then they were like, oh, okay, now it is all stable and works. Okay, let's put on the date of blah blah as our, like, because they could easily add the end card on.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just saying that could be a possibility.
Yeah. I feel like just from my general knowledge that that's unlikely. Like,
I,
I
I,
mean,
I, for to be honest, I probably agree. I probably agree as well. It's just like I said, that
I know.
I could see
Yeah.
that being one of the
Right.
possible reasons, whether it's true or not.
Right. And there's the difference between like when they know they'll probably have something and when they know that they'll have it with enough probability to be able to announce it. There's some wonkiness there. But like, I feel like even if he didn't give us a date at that time saying our goal is in the beginning of January after we get back from the break to be able to give it to you then. My essential, basically my interpretation of what I think it was Mike Z who made the post, right, about it being late.
Actually, I think it was Gail.
Oh yeah, maybe Gail made it.
Let me see if I can
either way
it again real quick.
My interpretation of that post was basically that they had it ready to go. But if they released it at that point, with any release, no matter how much you test it, how much work you do on it to make everything smooth, there's always bugs, there's always things that need to be worked on and fixed. But they knew if they released it right before the break, nobody would be available to work on it and fix and like whatever may come up during that time. So we would have to go through a couple of weeks of things, possibly, who knows if there was maybe a game breaking bug that broke in or something. And then you have people working over the week or something, like there's a lot of variability. So they didn't want to do it right before the holidays, which I totally understand. But then they wanted to do it at the beginning afterwards. Like, I don't know. I feel like better communication in general is what's needed. It's frustrating.
And just for clarity, it was Gail that posted it, but it was a message from Mike Z.
Okay.
So
we were both. That's where my brain was going. What? Yeah. Right. So if that was that's the way it read to me, was that they had it ready to go more or less. They wanted to wait. But if that was the plan, why not just say that?
Yeah. I'm curious when they release the yeah, I think they might have released the trailer on the 20th, so it seems like it was trying to think. So yeah, this was the 10th, and I think the trailer, so it might have been just over a week, which still doesn't, like, it's really hard to say that there was a major code revelation or something. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought they were all pretty late as soon as they said that they were trying I don't say all pretty late, but they were all late as soon as they said that they were trying this new tech that was going to streamline it.
Right.
Whether it was slightly over, but it was over nonetheless, kind of like chat saying how episode 2 was a smidge over 3 months. I agree, it's not a big deal for me, but it still was above the expectation that they were setting forth.
Right, and I have to go back and check, but I feel like the messaging on that wasn't enough ahead of time either on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So episode 4 was pretty close on 3. Okay. So it just feels worse than it is, I guess.
But and I think none of us are going to sit here and go for like some of the events they did this past year of like the 24-hour Extra Life stream. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, yeah, don't go raising money for kids.
Well, yeah, but I also didn't they do that like on their own time? Like,
yeah, well, technically it was. Well, yeah, I think it was on like Friday to Saturday. So,
right.
But it's definitely a cool thing. Gets the company out there and stuff like that. And but yeah, honestly, just hopefully they can raise more. I mean, that's the
right.
We got the update to the runes and sigils. We had like the crafting system in place. I mean,
got more legendaries, which is awesome.
Yeah, we've been consistently getting the legendaries to make up for the whole season. Second
like, I almost want to say second generation of legendaries.
Yeah,
but
I guess that's the better term. I almost call them season 2 legendaries, but I'm like, no, that would totally mean something different.
Well, originally they were Heart of Thorns legendaries,
yes.
and then yeah.
That is a good point. Like what chat's saying, like since the patch stuff kind of feels pretty much like a week's worth of content, especially if we're hitting it pretty hard.
The story stuff is like, that, but I guess if you hit all the collections and stuff with every one really hard, you can knock those out in a week. But like, I'm still working on my roller beetle, which I need to get back on. I've been using the rental roller beetle to do my beetle races. So,
but I feel like I'm going to know the answer to at least, well, partially some of the answers that we're probably going to get. But like, we had the update to the runes and sigils, basically a crafting system. What other systems do you guys want to see in 2019? Which I have a feeling somewhere out there we're going to get it. Exactly.
Are those still on the table?
Do we still have a table? That's the question we should ask.
Does the table exist? Actually, who was it? Was it Izzy who said that? I can't remember. Oh, geez, my brain. Whoever it was, I remember talking to him at some point, and they said that they regret in the interview saying anything about on the table or off the table, because they knew as soon as they said it, it was going to be a thing. And like, yeah.
Want a legendary amulet at the end of season 4 like Aurora? That's a good question, because I have a feeling that they will do one that takes you back across all the episodes of the season. What do you think it will be? Do you think it will be a legendary amulet? Do you think it will be another ring? Or
well, I thought you couldn't finish the rings yet. Like, you can start them, but you couldn't actually get the legendary thing for it. The end part of it. I can't remember. There's one of them. There's one of them currently where you can work on it, but you can't finish it yet. So I would assume whatever that is that would be the finish.
Oh, chat saying the ring is tied to raids. I want more than 10 mails in my mailbox in chat that don't disappear when I leave parties. I like the granted, the more than 10 mails would be a nice quality of life, but I also fully agree with the whole chat disappearing after you leave a party or squad, especially if you're trying to, like if someone's like taking over your, like, can people still do that? I haven't really gone into a group for a while where people can come in and like basically hijack your fractal and kick you out.
I don't think they can do that anymore. I thought they put in some protections for that.
I'm trying to remember if it was or wasn't, but I mean, or in any situation where you're trying to look back on like information to hopefully give to the harassment team or whatever to hopefully deal with these people. But if it gets wiped as soon as you get, kicked from it, you can't really
new dungeon, non-fractal content.
Yeah. That's gonna come with my weapon idea. and the dwarven race, playable race.
Right. The dungeons
as
were
much as I would like that. Yeah, I was gonna say, as much as I like that idea,
yeah. It would be nice to actually get some movement on the world versus world updates.
I was gonna say, I think this year, I want to see, next year in 2019, I actually want to see them at least show some kind of like framework or like general, like a fully kind of fleshed out idea, not necessarily implementation or anything, but at least like this is the idea we're running with. And we're starting to put it into motion type thing, because we kind of have like little bits of framework so far, but nothing, So I don't know.
I'd kind of like to see a return to SPVP as an esport, because like, even though I don't participate in it or watch it all that much, but like it brings a lot of energy into the community and like it affects everything else. So like, it's one of those things where it's hard to get hard numbers on how much of an effect it has on like earning them money, but I think it's more of an intangible thing, and it keeps people energized, and it's interesting, you know. Yeah, I still say I wish even after Colin had left, they had kept up the quarterly, this is what we're planning on for the quarter posts, because those would have been really helpful. Even if they couldn't follow up on all of them, it was nice to see what they were thinking and where their heads were, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it has to be a two-way street. That I think as much as the devs failed us and continued to give us that, I think us as a community have failed them as well. Is we held them to that as if it was like the gospel, like sacred text. It's like, you didn't achieve this, you're a failure. It's like, they don't want to hear that, even though they put it in there like 100 times, like, you know, this is all subject to change, this is the ideas we're floating out there,
right?
But then the majority of the people were like, no, this is exactly what has to happen. Like, it's like,
right.
So we as a community did not meet them halfway on that either. It's like,
right. Well, like, and that's the thing with it, like, anytime, like, the people working on Guild Wars 2, like the devs doing the actual work of making things that go into the game, and the community people and all of that, they actually care about the game. And like, when they are working on a thing that needs to get in the game, and that they've said needs to get in the game, they want to have in the game, and they can't do it for whatever reason, they already feel bad about it. Like, you don't have to be angry at them to make them feel bad. They already do. It's a disappointment. Like, nobody is like, hey, we're going to tell them we're going to give them a red balloon, but then screw them, no red balloons. Like, that's not how it works.
Well, you know, that's the one thing we did get was a toy that was a red balloon. I mean,
I know. That's why I picked it. I thought it was funny.
I'm still waiting on our green balloon. They didn't give us that yet.
No, we need 99 red balloons before we can get a green balloon.
Oh. That's going to take a while. Yeah, see, even chat's saying they already have a red balloon. See, we're good with that. I want to play the internet for a second. That's the one thing that they promised and they did give us. Yeah, I mean, kind of like what you were saying, while I'm not a PvPer, really, I mean... I would love to see esports or like the SPVP scene. I do agree with like Chad is, you know, the what's in it for them, like, because it doesn't really seem like there's that much money for them in it. And yeah, but how interesting is it for a random person that's not ingrained in Guild Wars 2 to watch like that as an esport compared to
that was always kind of my thing. Was so going back to that 2015 PAX East where they had the big tournament there and stuff, there were a lot of people that I talked to in the crowd who never played Guild Wars 2 and who were standing in line to play the demo and stuff, who had never played it and were curious about it. So like, I don't know, like I said, I think they can't really directly tell how much esports and all of that money directly makes them, because I think it's more of an indirect of being out there and people seeing it and talking about it and things. But I feel like getting rid of the esports was one of the big things that they did that really hurt the game long term.
Definitely hurt that aspect of the community. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like not just the PvP aspect of the community. I think it's had far-reaching things into the PvP side and everything too. Like, I think overall it's been a negative for the entire game.
Yeah, and I agree with kind of like chat, like, because like you were saying, as you were watching that and at PAX East, I was also thinking in my head, that was also when the meta was a good meta. Because like chat saying too. The bunker meta.
You're putting R's in things.
Yeah, I'm changing it up. That's what really killed PvP. Because I still remember like hearing like Jebro and stuff tried to shoutcast that, you could kind of hear the struggle that they were like, yeah. So like, like if you can go back and see those,
there. Nothing you can do. Yeah, I'm sure. I miss Jebro.
Well, he's still here. He's still around.
I know, but I don't like, some of the matches I would watch just to hear him. And was it Blue? I forget who casted with him.
I think Blue casted with him a couple of times. I don't know if it was like a regular thing, but
there was one guy who regularly casted with him, and I can't remember if it was Blue or somebody else. But anyways, I liked watching the matches, but I liked hearing them shoutcasted too, and I missed that. It's great.
Ooh, chat saying I'd rather play the bunker meta than the Mirage spam meta. I'm fighting words.
Yeah,
that's also the tricky thing is it's just you can't favor one thing more than the other, and that's really hard to achieve.
Yeah,
without them literally doing kind of like what they did in Guild Wars 1 was a permanent split between PvP and PvE, which they just are really trying to fight. It seems like because it would be a lot of work. I mean, that's no doubt about that.
They've started doing it a little bit, but I think they're just not recognizing the fact that they're just going to need to go full on with it because it's just the nature of the beast, I think.
Both are horrible. Well, yeah, and that's ultimately what we're like. Yeah, we wouldn't want either of them, the Mirage spam meta or the bunker meta, but it's just that I think that's the ultimate thing is we really need that split, and I just don't know if they have the time, effort, or probably maybe want to, like from the higher up perspective of the want to put the time and effort into it. Because I'm sure there's probably devs there that are interested in PvP that would be like, yeah, I would love to do that, but ultimately it probably comes down to, well, that's not on our priority list type thing.
Yeah, Aaron, we just recognize that there is a split, but what we're saying is there's not enough of a split. They need to make it more across the board so that they can balance things more easily in PvP without messing up PvE and vice versa.
And they have gotten better with that. Like Robin was saying, was like you see more so it's like, oh, this only does this in PvP/world or only PvE. It's like, but I think the problem is that they're doing it very slow, whereas it, like, I still remember you go into Guild Wars 1, you go to one of the maps that leads you to a PvP map, it's like basically it brings up all those messages of like basically all the skills in your bar have changed, look at them.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Everything works differently, which I totally understand them not wanting to make that split because it is confusion, especially as a new player. You're used to your skill working one way and then going into another game mode and it works differently. But overall, for the majority of players, it's a better experience because once you get over that hurdle of learning how your skills work in the different things, then like you can balance each mode much more effectively.
And maybe they're doing that behind the scenes. Maybe they're coming up with like blueprints of the skills at the current time to be like, so they can maybe drop it all at once. Like,
right.
Because, yeah, it doing it so slowly isn't helping as, I mean, it helps a little bit, but I don't think it's ever going to make it be like, this is the PvP scene. Like,
right. The pirate ship meta in World versus World. What is that? That just sounds crazy. Oh, there's pirate ships in World versus World? I'm confused. I haven't been in World versus World in, God, literally, I don't think I've been in a World versus World match since before John Corpening left. Like, wow. Yeah, it's been a while.
I was gonna say, I was in War v World when Mouth was doing the Zero to Hero episode that I was a part of, and granted, we didn't leave the main first spot because we were just getting our crap kicked.
Right.
In. So
the pirate ship meta is apparently two Zergs staying at range and flinging ranged at each other. That sounds terrible.
Oh, okay.
Like it's bad enough when like two Zergs collide, but that can be interesting. Just two Zergs staying at range and firing at each other just sounds terrible.
Yeah, that does sound boring.
Wow. I've always, even when I played World versus World, I always kind of stayed away from the Zergs anyway. But that,
That is
yeah,
what the meta is now, though. Oh, well, there's another reason why I won't be hopping back into World v. World.
yeah. That World versus World needs a lot of love. So sad.
Yeah.
Should we move on to new and different topics, Dale?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit with after show and stuff like that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, definitely, if you have any ideas that we didn't talk about, throw it in the comment section, and love to hear them. And if you're somehow a dev at ArenaNet, let us know if you're still listening. Because I will be surprised after our, I use air quotes here, lore discussion of the living story.
Legs! The legs, man! But the legs! Anyway.
But, I think one thing that's going to be a constant in 2019, just as it was in 2018, we're going to get updates to the gem store. Speaking of the gem store, first up we have the, what did you call these, Arlee? What were these called? The new items?
Whittler antlers.
Yes, the Whittler antlers, or as some people have called them, the winter antler set. You can get
that's just a weird name. Why would you call them that?
Yeah, you can get them for 500 gems, and it's the I almost said it. The winter antlers, and then the enchanted winter antlers.
Oh my god.
A little small, little festive thing. Now, a lot of people I saw saying like they wished it would, because they only kind of show them on like a human character, but I've heard that they really don't scale on the bigger characters.
Oh, so they like seem kind of smaller on like Norn or Char, maybe?
Yeah, I couldn't find any screens of anything else besides the promotional one that they put out, but I heard a lot of people saying that was an issue.
Lame.
So that is the shame of it, but a lot of people were saying that their Malfurion cosplay will be on point.
Nice.
Yay, more horns. I almost said it's that time of season, but I don't know. Sure, why not? But yeah, so you can pick it up for 500 gems. They are a helmet skin, so you can mix and match this on your desired character if you so, think that they are appealing enough. Chat saying it clips pretty bad with the Asuran pigtails. So yeah, definitely maybe preview this, it sounds like, on your character before you attempt to purchase this, depending on your hair and maybe different race. But yeah. So
wait, isn't so they were saying they don't scale well with the bigger races. Isn't the one on the left there a Norn? Because I thought that hairstyle was a Norn hairstyle.
Well, I think that is a Norn, but I think they were maybe more referring to like between the tiny Asuran and the like Char. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I unfortunately couldn't find screenshots of people with like them on the different races, but like I said, they were only kind of showing off the human
esque ones. Yeah,
the skeletal structure.
Okay.
Don't scale well equals we want bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
But
oh my god, I was just thinking, what if the antlers were really big on an Ashura, and then you're like walking around falling over like a toddler trying to run forward, like ah.
Well, they would have to really add some physics to the game, but I think that would be great.
Right, that would be funny.
Some returning items. Apparently, we have all the legendary mount skins in the gem store. Now, you better hurry up because it sounds like the earliest ones are leaving January 1st, and they are in there. It doesn't seem like they're on sale, so they are going to be 2,000 gems a piece, but it seems like they're all there at once, so you might be able to pick up one of the ones that maybe you missed out on. The mount adoption licenses are there, 1 for 400 and 10 for 3,400 gems.
Is one of them the original one? Come back?
All it says is the mount adoption license. I think that means it's the other one because the only other ones should still be there, I would imagine.
Okay.
Because then we only have 2 generations of random ones.
Maybe. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, I agree with you. The 2K gem mount skins are a bit pricey, at least for my taste.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd have to really love a mountain skin to pay that much. Oh wait, I think I bought the armadillo. Wasn't that 2K?
I believe so. But that one was a pretty good one.
Yeah, that was an awesome one. But yeah,
like, especially for just like a simple look, not like a flame shooting out of every orifice type thing. I
don't know. Okay.
The return some more harvesting tools have returned. The Chop It All logging axe, the Glitter Bomb harvesting tool, the Thresher Sickle 5000 harvesting tool, the Watchwork mining pick, and the MAAD Scientist harvesting, logging, and mining tools are all back for 1,000 gems apiece. So they are just returning. They're not on sale, just so people know. Also on sale, I think they just announced it today, was the Outlaw Appearance Pack for 2,000 gems. Or, sorry, it's normally 2,000 gems, but it is 25% off, so you can get it for 1,700 gems. Also, all the Choya Gathering Tools, which are normally 1,000 gems a piece, you can get them for 25% off, which is 800 gems a piece. So.
Oh, yeah, apparently I can't really say anything about the legendary mount skins because I did also get the Shrine Guardian one. I forgot.
Oh, is that the lion looking one?
No, it's the fox with the 9 tails.
The 9 tails.
Yeah.
Granted, that's a nice looking one. I mean, that was one of those ones where I'm like, oh, no, be strong.
Right. So.
I wish I could uninstall the gem store.
Aww.
Yeah, but that's kind of how they make their money, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that I would prefer a sub model for Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, especially with like a sub model for Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see an optional one of like I said this before when I was actually playing more extensively, was like, even if it was along the lines of like, if you're paying $15 a month, here's like basically $15 worth of gems. Like,
right.
It's just like you get it just monthly, and maybe throw in like you can get like a free black lanky or something little.
Right.
Don't put like experience boot. Don't like be like you can get more experience, because I always hate when games tend to do that, because it's either they make the experience too easy for the paying customer, or they, I think it was like SWOTOR that made it so it was like, oh, it'll be basically what the preferred experience was, but if you're a free cut character, they basically cranked the experience you would get down lower, so it was a harder experience. So it's, I don't know, I never think it's good either way.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind seeing an optional one that wasn't intrusive. But like chat saying, they wouldn't be a fan of a sub model, and some would.
Right.
But
then you got games like WoW that have a sub model and a cash shop.
They found the best of both worlds. Like, why would we give up our sub model and we could put a cash shop in too?
Right?
You can pay $15 for a helmet. Oh, I still remember when that came out and people were kicking people from groups because they were just that upset about it.
Right. Anyways, not to sidetrack us again.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still in there, but the Copper-Fed Salvage-O-Matic returned. I think it was a couple days ago for 25% off. So, I mean, a big thing is definitely checking out the...
Yep.
Following them on Twitter. Oh, it's still in there? Okay.
Yep.
the Arctic Explorer outfit for 490 gems, which is 30% off. Okay, the ones that might have already left were like the Crystal Arbiter appearance pack. It basically it seems like it's all the previous appearance packs that they've had. Like the Ironclad appearance pack. Okay, and then the Dervish package. Yeah.
I think I just saw that a second ago. Yeah, the Dervish package is still there. Okay, 1,445.
Yeah, so that's 15% off. So definitely pick those up if you're interested. If you're a fan of Guild Wars 1 and the Dervish, I mean, it was the Primeval Dervish armor, but it is an outfit. I do want to stress that. You get the Sun Touch Scythe staff skin, which I know it's
amazing.
Yeah, it looks like a scythe, but it is a staff.
Yes,
which looks great on a Revenant or a Daredevil. Is it? Yeah, Daredevil.
Oh, there's faces in it too when you move around.
Oh yeah, the streak is actually the trail is, I think, the faces of the gods.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. Wow. Huh.
And I think within all of them you get different types of die kits, which
right. And Black Lion statuettes.
Yeah, and I think the constant thing is like a total makeover kit. So
yep.
But I think more than likely what people are going for is kind of the outfits or gliders, depending on what ones you're picking.
Right.
But yeah, definitely pick those up if you want to, because they're probably going to be heading out here soon.
Yeah.
Probably making way for, January 8th when the new season drops. They'll probably have lots of nice cosmetics for.
Right.
But yeah, any thoughts on the gem store? Is there anything they may be returning that you would suggest people maybe pick up?
Shoot, I forgot what were the returning things now.
Well, I was gonna say, if the Copper-Fed Salvage-O-Matic is still there, definitely pick that up. That's definitely a nice thing to have. The returning some of the returning items were like the legendary mount skins, mount adoption licenses, the Chop It All logging axe, the different harvesting tools. But like I said, if you're listening today and if it's still available on Sunday, if you don't mind the skin, what the skin looks like, if you just want a unlimited gathering tool, the Choya gathering tools are there for 800 gems instead of the other ones that have just been brought back for 1,000.
Yeah, another 1,000. Yeah. Like I mentioned, the Shrine Jackal skin is totally worth the money. I think that is an amazing skin. Even the dye channels in it are really good. I think that's the only one of those. Well, I did buy the mount adoption license a few times. I don't know if I'm going to do that again, though. Maybe. I'm still annoyed that they're not just, the mount adoption license isn't just always up on the thing, because I liked it as a thing that when I had extra money, I could throw money at it, then eventually I would get all of them.
Took it away. Like, they're making the artificial scarcity just for the sake of it, because it was like, okay, I can understand, because like some people are like, well, this lets it put it into one box that way, because they do have limited space on their kind of gem store website type thing. But it was like, well, you just crammed 50 mount skin, or not 50, but a lot of mount skins into one item. But now you're taking it off in favor, it's like, yeah, it does feel crummy that, like you said, it's like you maybe trade gold to gems, and it's like, okay, I'll throw X amount of gold at it and get a mount, a random mount, and it's not there. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of creating that artificial scarcity.
No, especially with something that has RNG on it. Like, the RNG didn't bother me that much because, like I said, when I had the money, I could throw money at it. And I would just over time eventually get all of them. So whatever. But
yeah, definitely. If you're fine with the mount adoption license things and you got the money or the gold to do it, definitely pick it up while they're still there. Or like we said, Copper-Fed Salvage-O-Matic. You can get the gathering tools for cheaper, and they are Choya. for better or worse. But let
I
us
just hit
move.
my power strip. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Let
I hit
us.
the button to turn it off for a second.
Oh, okay. I was like, where are you going? Let us move away from the gem store and talk about a little bit about the community corner. So this week in community corner, we have from Chronicles of Tyria, the Visions of Winter's Day, a Chronicles of Tyria art contest. And we'll throw the website in chat for people. And if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, you can see the link in the chat or in the description. But they are looking for, in this contest, they want some Winter's Day themed art. The deadline is January 12th, 2019. You do have to be 18 plus to enter, and you can submit up to 4 entries, but can win max of only 1 prize pack. And it is judged based on prompts like the gift, minis, giving back, and originality. Entries will be judged on style, medium, originality, and how the chosen prompt is incorporated into the piece submitted. Now you're probably wondering, what are the prizes? So they are giving out prizes of 1 Guild Wars 1 pin set, 1 Guild Wars 2 Ritlock mouse pad, 1 Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire lanyard, 1 Guild Wars 2 concept art signed by their respective artists, Daniel, oh boy, Dosyu, Kikai Katakai, or Jason Stokes. Oh, shush. 1 bundle of 1,600 gems, and 1 is the showcase of the winner's art on Chronicles of Tyria's website and social media. So,
yay! It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good, nice little contest. So if you're talented or maybe even off the wall, because they are looking for different, originality in a different medium. So, if it's even off the wall, maybe it'll make the cut. But yeah, any thoughts on the contest?
Sounds awesome. Wish I could draw things.
Yeah, me too. Last up, we have a video from Kroof. It is the Mighty Torrent Tempest PvE support build and gameplay. And we have the video here, and of course on YouTube it'll be in the description. But it is she made a build from the Tempest, the Elementalist, of course. It is more of a support build. It kind of has high boon duration and healing power and stuff like that. But it looks like it is utilizing, I forget what the armor set was. It's a mix of armors that they were going for. It was Magi's and also Harriers. So it looks like it's kind of dabbling with, like I said, a lot of the healing power, concentration, but also splashes of like power and precision and a little bit of vitality. And I think in her video, she was, while she didn't have all this, because I think she had a couple berserker weapons that she was like, oh, I'd like to switch to Harrier. I think she was sitting at about 80% boon duration.
Wow.
And I think it was like around 1,200 healing power, but also had like a pretty sizable, I think it was like 1,800, 1,900 power. So she could still hit pretty well with it. I mean,
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so if you're maybe looking for a Tempest build that might be slightly interesting, I did see someone in her comments saying like they were even tempted to take it to World v World, but granted, this is, they're only saying it for PvE kind of support type thing,
right?
And I think it was more open world base, so try in World v World, but take it with a grain of salt. It's I'm sure there's plenty of salt in any PvP style thing.
Oh. Did you say that was the last community corner we had?
Yeah.
All right. I also wanted to do a shout out to Kit the Traveler because her legendary giveaway recently ended, which if you guys don't know about her, you should check her out. She does a lot of different interesting things in the community. And I think if I remember correctly, she was giving away a full set of the season 1
Yeah, I
legendaries.
think it was 4 on her, because if you were watching the past episodes, we've announced it pretty much every week up leading up to
Right.
it. But I think it was, let me remember if I can remember the spiel, but it was 4 legendaries on Twitter, 4 legendaries on her website, I think 4 on her Twitch, and then
Hmm.
4 on a forum post that she had on the Guild Wars 2 official
Right.
forums.
Something like that. That sounds right. And I actually won one of them. So yay.
Woo!
I got the
Nice.
minstrel, so that was exciting.
Yeah.
But you should definitely check out a lot of the cool and interesting things she does in the community. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Definitely. And actually, we were kind of talking about her last week when I think we were talking about some of the job, like Arena was having some of the job
Oh,
openings, and we
hmm.
were talking about how it's like, even if you don't have professional experience in the sense of, because it was talking about narrative design, it's like, oh, I haven't really written anything. It's like, just put it out there on the internet, like put it out there on the internet, whether it's your own website or some kind of like forum.
Hmm.
So it like, because it's like, you know, don't go to Arena and be like, oh, I've written so many fan fictions, and it's like they're all like locked on my like Word document on a folder on my
Hmm.
computer. They can't see that. Like, so
Right.
sometimes that can, while it's not professional, like you didn't get paid for it, but you are showing, you know, that you're putting effort into something.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got and related to that was from, I think it was Mike Laidlaw when he was at BioWare. It was him or Patrick Weeks, one of the two. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But one of them said that if you want to apply as a writer at a game company, even if you haven't like actually made a game, one of the easiest things you can do is download Twine, which is completely free. Create a little narrative story in there where people make choices and go through the things. Because one, if you don't have experience with the various tools they use in game design and how that works and how it translates from what is on the back end to what people see, that will teach you the basics really quickly and how to think through the process, especially for branching things where people make choices. So that was specific for BioWare, but it will work even for ArenaNet.
Yeah.
Just make a story that and then upload it on the internet. People can play through it, and it gives them something to see, like where you're at, what the moment is, and at least give them some idea. Wouldn't be able to be like a senior writer or
Yeah.
narrative designer or
Don't,
something,
yeah, don't be like, I'm gonna be a game lead developer, like, and
right?
here's my
The
Twine
creative director,
stories. Yeah.
But like, some of the more entry level ones, it's a good thing to give them that gives them an example of, you know, where you're at, what your understanding is, and it gives you some experience thinking through some of the unique challenges that game designers run into when they're trying to tell stories, because it is a different way of telling stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think that you said that was Twine.
Yep,
Oh, cool.
TWINE.
Oh, that's. But yeah, anything that gets you out there, because kind of like what Arlie's saying, like from some of the devs there. I mean, you hear about it with um some of the other things, like, well, like a lot of those people that like develop a mod for fun
Hmm.
eventually get hired on by like that company or something, because it's like you're basically showing them your resume of like, I can work
Right.
with your product. It's like,
Hmm. Yep.
now not all of them, but some of the.
Yep.
So yeah, you don't have to get paid for it to actually lead into professional kind of experience. Like,
Right.
I mean, sometimes that's even better, because it's like this person has passion to go do this. They're actually working at a
Hmm.
job and then doing this instead of, okay, that was their 9 to 5 before. It's like,
Right.
if only
It's
Bethesda
also
would hire
good.
those people. I think. Well, to be fair, I think they actually did for some things, just not all of them.
Right. I also think it's good because a lot of people get caught up in the making games, that's so much fun, but like the end of the day it's a job, and there's a lot of back end stuff that you never see that is just not fun and is frustrating and is difficult. Um So being able to see that you can deal with all of that is a plus in your direction. The other big thing on working in games is, you know, you need to be able to work well with others, even people you very strongly disagree with or don't like their personality. You have to be able to, find a common ground and work with them, because games are extremely collaborative.
Mm-hmm. Is it bad that when you were saying like a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes, I'm like, yeah, dealing with all those switches that you have to flick as the developer, right?
Right.
Oh, we can't flick on the build template switch yet. We're saving that for a rainy day.
Not yet. Not until they stop asking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Yeah, actually, Aaron, that's funny. He says, if you made a games for a living, I would never play video games in my free time again. That is pretty common, because when video games become your profession, whether it's as a developer or even just as a journalist writing about it, like, it makes it hard for a lot of people, find it difficult to step out of their professional, like,
or it's like you're just exhausted from it. It's like,
right.
And that's supposed to be your break time. Like, it's not game development or anything like that, but when my buddy, I think when we were just out of high school, he worked at either Comcast or Verizon or something, but he was helping troubleshoot people's computers, where before that, when it was just something he would do to help friends and stuff like that or family members, he'd be like, oh yeah, let me help you with this. But I remember talking to him, he's looking like another like friend or family member, blah, 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 wants me to go look at their computer. He's like, it's like one of those things, you're already doing it for 8 hours a day. This is supposed to be your unwind time or your relaxation time. Now it's like, well, here's some more work.
Right.
That you're not getting paid for. It's like,
yeah, that is also a difficult thing to wrestle with sometimes.
But I think we are still wandering around in this topic, so we'll save this for after show. Right. But yeah, that is it for this week. And Robin, where can they find you?
On Arlee82 on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Yay.
Awesome. And you can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. And I'm planning on tomorrow for my birthday, streaming a little bit, streaming some. Hopefully, because while I wanted to try to do it on Christmas Day, brainwave device, unfortunately, the cord that they sent me was too short to reach to the thing, so I would have been like playing with that.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been great. But so I got a longer cord, and hopefully that should all work. I'm going to probably play around and test it tonight to make sure that everything works with everything, and if not, we'll probably still stream something. It just won't be with that. But I probably wanted to try to hop into Destiny 2 and feel the story for the first time with that on. So, and when Living World episode 5 comes out, we'll probably definitely be using that instead of my old headset, because that thing hurt. But yeah, so look forward to all that stuff. And if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. If you want to watch this in full, we do highlight it on Twitch, twitch.tv/MAAD, 2 A's in the MAAD. But if you prefer YouTube, it goes up on YouTube's every Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And that's youtube.com/MAAD, 2 A's in the MAAD. If you want to make it out for the live show, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Once again, twitch.tv/MAAD. If you want to watch this all in one nice little lump sum package, and other products that we do, like Vote to Kick, price, a couple more things. I'm just finishing up, hopefully, one of the things another show we were trying to do. But no promises. I don't want to be labeled like that. I now know their plight. But that'll all be in one place at if you just go to maadrealms.com, and that's 2 A's in the MAAD. And if you are just looking for Talking Skritt stuff, that is where we have our audio version of this podcast, if you're looking for it. And we are trying to figure out a way to put it on some of the other automated, like iTunes and Google Play and stuff like that. So But yeah, that is it for this week, and hopefully we'll have news next week. And see you in the game. Good night, everybody.